the last time you used a plastic bag? A plastic bottle? Or a plastic straw? Do you know where it went, perhaps, after using it for no longer than 12 minutes? These were the questions that circulated in my head following my first ever open water dive. While mesmerized by the beauty of nature, my instructor then proceeded to carry out a brief presentation informing me of the growing destruction posed towards marine life as a result of single-use plastics. However, displayed on the screen were haunting images of plastic rings strangling the vibrant coral, cigarette butts mocking the dancing sea worms, plastic bags deceiving turtles by imitating their prey, and ubiquitous plastic straws forming a trail of destruction. In short, the mundane ritual of tossing things in the trash appeared to be far more detrimental than I imagined. However, these visuals weren't sufficient in galvanizing me into action. Instead, what resonated with me the most about his presentation was the message that we, as young people, have the capacity to instigate change. So, before any of these objectives were adopted, and before news outlets began issuing statements regarding the urgency of these issues, two girls, Melati and Isabel, felt the urge to take action. At the age of 10 and 12, with no business plan, no fixed strategy, nor any connections to the government, they decided to create what would be one of the first youth-driven environmental initiatives. Bye-bye plastic bags. In the beginning, as with any initiative started by youth, they faced uncertainty and hesitation. But they continued to work tirelessly towards their goal. And after speaking at 231 events, donating 16,800 bags to local communities, organizing over 100 beach cleanups, and even going on a temporary hunger strike, they finally convinced the Balinese government to impose a ban on plastic bags, straws, and styrofoam packaging. This was announced in 2018 and has been in place since the 23rd of June. After 6 years of campaigning, they finally achieved their goal, and I think it's safe to conclude that this is emblematic of the power of dedicated youth. Now, bye-bye plastic bags has become a global phenomenon. Melati and Isabel, the forces behind the cause, have been recognized by famous news outlets such as Forbes and Times Magazine. Moreover, their mission has now surpassed the issue of plastic bags. For example, in response to the commonly posed question, what do we use if not plastic bags? They launched a social enterprise in 2018 named Mountain Mamas. Not only does this initiative benefit the environment, it also supports women in the mountains of Bali. In short, this project combines everything that we love: a circular economy, pre-loved materials being reused and upcycled, and giving back to the community. With this project, every mama works whenever their time allows and is paid per bag that she sews. These bags are then distributed and sold around retail stores in Bali and through an online shop. While 50% of the proceeds are used to fund bye-bye plastic bags, the other 50% is donated back to the community or village and is used for waste management, healthcare, and education. Furthermore, after campaigning on stages all around the world and speaking to over 50,000 young people, Melati and Isabel have encountered hundreds of young people who aspire to be change makers but lack the tools to do so. So, their most recent project, Utopia, is all about youth empowerment. Utopia is a youth leadership summit that unites youth from all around the world, ignites their passions, and hones their skills to address issues in line with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This was founded under the belief that with the right training and education, anyone who aspires to be a change maker has every power to do so. Melati and Isabel continue to pave the way for youth-driven change, and the teams have now expanded to over 50 teams in 40 countries around the world. While one of the teams was founded by myself in Hong Kong, because we believe in the global effort towards change, there's one team here in Berlin as well. And although there are already many existing organizations that aim to tackle the issue of plastic waste, we believe that through collaboration, we can achieve a greater and more scalable impact. We will also believe that tackling this issue requires a creative approach, combining waste management, policy, alternatives, and education. Our solutions are multifaceted. At Bye Bye Plastic Bags, while we envision the final goal to be a blanket ban on single-use plastics, we also strive for the everyday changes that must be carried out in parallel. In Hong Kong alone, an average of 14 million plastic bags are sent to landfills every day. This amounts to the disposal of 2 plastic bags per person per day. Because of our insistence on convenience, the materials we prize for being indestructible have become the root causes of environmental damage. Therefore, our main focus in Hong Kong is making alternatives available. We recognize that a common hurdle is that people are often unwilling or forget to bring their own reusable bags. So we hope to make this sustainable behavior come easily by facilitating the change and showing people how it can be done. Because who will support a ban on plastic bags if there are no alternatives to redirect to? So, while a lot of our time is spent picking up trash in the grueling Hong Kong heat, we also believe that environmental issues should not be tackled in isolation. As evidenced by the industry of fast fashion, we're constantly disposing of materials that could be easily reused or upcycled. According to the Better Cotton Initiative, a single t-shirt takes 2,700 liters to produce. That's the same amount of water that an average person drinks over the course of 900 days. Therefore, in tandem with our education strand, we have held workshops at schools and other fairs, teaching people how to refurbish secondhand t-shirts into fashionable, reusable shopping bags. With these extra bags, we are currently working on our first ever pilot project with the University of Hong Kong. Our aim is to implement a reusable bag system so that customers can take a bag as they come and go. By doing so, we hope to promote a circular economy, inspire other supermarkets to do the same, and demonstrate to everyone that these plastic bags are unneeded. Ultimately, the goal is to drive down the demand for plastic bags so that they may be seamlessly removed from society. Another project we've been working on is the One Island, One Voice initiative. This is an extension of one of the Bali's team's projects. With this, we hope to reinforce the concept of community. Because in celebrating stores that are already plastic-free by gifting them a badge of honor, in other words, a sticker for their door, we can hope to demonstrate to other restaurants and stores that they can do the same. But of course, it goes without saying that this process hasn't been as smooth as we'd hope. We like to describe it as dancing with the community. For every 3 steps forward, it's another 2 steps back. For every successful email, there's another 100 that go unnoticed. And for every restaurant that decides to go plastic-free, there's a new one around the block that continues to distribute plastic straws. But I've come to realize that this is not a one-man job. What I didn't mention at the start of this talk was when I first learned about the single-use plastic epidemic, I tried to solve this problem on my own. I had an ambitious plan to convince all restaurants to eliminate plastic straws, And I was prepared to be that student hero that transformed the plastic scene in Hong Kong. And yet, my efforts were rendered futile, because what I didn't have was a team. With Bye Bye Plastic Bags, we meet every other week over a different vegan meal, and this has become an easy routine to slip into our schedules. Because of our shared passion for the cause, it naturally translates into something that we look forward to rather than dread. So, going back to the question I posed at the start of this talk, when was the last time you used a plastic bag? The truth is, I don't care if you used one last month, last week, or even earlier today. If we mulled over every instance that we use plastic, we would never progress. But what I do care about is that you leave this conference with the intention to start now by saying no to single-use plastics. Our climate doesn't need to face any more damage as a result of our actions, and each one of us can participate to make a tangible difference for all. Bye Bye Plastic Bags is more than a movement to ban plastic bags. It is a mission to empower youth and inspire everyone to take action. Inevitably, a part of the process involves facing resistance and feeling discouraged. But even if it means slowly chipping away at a very vast issue of plastic waste, I think it's safe to say that our movement has a voice. So, for any of the youth out there who feel like their voices aren't heard or their actions don't matter, I'd like to remind you that although we only make up 25% of the population, we are 100% of the future. Thank you.